Hey, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on my garbage content. Today, I am doing a type of a follow-up video to my previous CZ P07 battle pistol or carry pistol video. I'm going to go through a couple of points that I've written down. I've got a list here of things that I thought were very important to share when it comes to the CZ P07. So before I get into that, just like to say, hit the like button if this is something that you like, and subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, see some more of my garbage content. But let's just get into it. Here's my CZ P07. All right, you can tell I've done some work to it. I just want to state, obviously, that I've got an empty mag here, and without flagging myself in the head, you can see there's an empty chamber. Let me start off by saying my opinion doesn't really matter, but in my opinion and with my experience, this is what I have to say about the CZ P07. So I am about 5,000 rounds through this CZ P07 with this barrel. This was my first actual gun purchase. I never owned a gun before this gun, so you can tell that I was one of those hipster gun purchasers. As you know, I was going through the world of concealed carry and other kinds of pistols to buy, trying to figure out what my first gun would be. And I settled on this one, and that's not because it was the first one I tried. I went to a local shooting range, an indoor one, and I rented a Glock 19, shot that quite a bit. I rented the SIG P320C, the compact version, and I shot that a bit, and I actually liked that pistol quite a bit, but I didn't end up picking it in the end. But in the end, I did not go with the Glock because, like I said, I started out this situation being a gun hipster, and I was like, well, everybody has a Glock. I don't want a Glock. They're ugly. They're blocky. I hear the grip angle sucks. And so I discounted that pretty quickly. Now, I'm not going to say anything bad about Glock. I love my Glock. I really do. I love my G17. I have nothing against Glocks, but when it came to my first gun, I really, really did not want a Glock. So like I said, my experience with this was I have about 5,000 rounds through it. And, you know, maybe for some people that's not a lot, but for most people, that's more than a lot of people actually shoot. So that's why I feel like I can say at least something about this. So I wanted to go over some of the features that people make fun of, and kind of explain why for me it didn't really, it didn't deter me. So one of the things is people really had a funny time talking about this slide here. You can tell this slide is a bit different than other slides, and for me, looking at this from an engineer standpoint, I'm not an engineer, but I like good engineering. Looking at it from a standpoint like that, I actually really, really love the fact that this slide rides inside the polymer frame, and it somehow keeps the slide more level from when you're firing. When it's ejecting around, this thing comes back, and it rides within the frame so smoothly. And I have noticed that, yes, it does lend to less recoil, less perceived recoil, but also more accuracy. This is the gun I'm the most accurate with. And this was the thing that a lot of people were trying to say sucks about the CZ P07, that it's hard to rack the slide. It's hard to do that. Personally, never found an issue with that. So it's just something to get used to. I'd just say train yourself through that. If the CZ P07 is the only gun you own, you're going to figure out how to manipulate it pretty well without having issues like that. Another funny criticism the CZ P07 got, and CZ as a company as a whole, for some reason, people were making fun of it because it's a European brand and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Look, Glock, SIG, HK, Beretta, CZ, they're all European brands. They all started from over there. Maybe they make some of their guns here, but, you know, that's such a weird criticism for people to make when you have a gun that's made in Europe. And for some reason that makes it lesser of a gun because everyone runs Glocks, so I think that's funny. So in this section, I'm going to get into the reliability. I have actually never once had a malfunction in my 5,000 rounds through this that wasn't ammo induced or just me being an idiot. Because I'm lefty, I had to switch my mag release around to the left, to the right side, so I could hit it with my left thumb. Now, I didn't do that correctly, and so obviously when I went to shoot it, my mag just shot out of the bottom of the gun. Not due to the force of the round going off, but more of just it wasn't held in correctly. So that's honestly the only malfunction I've ever had with the CZ P07. It's the most reliable gun I've ever used. Another example of issues that I've had even with this, the HK VP9, is that because I'm lefty, my support hand comes over and it does mess with this slide release on this side, and a lot of times I don't get the slide locking open on the last round. So these are things that I've experienced with other guns that have kind of led me away from them to use them consistently, and has always planted me back into the CZ P07. Now, another reason why I did buy the CZ P07 ahead of the Glock and ahead of the P320 was because I wanted a hammer-fired pistol, and the hammer-fired pistol to me it looked cooler. And as you're buying your first gun, it just looked cooler. And I've heard a lot of the same things about somebody who gets their first tattoo. You know, they think really hard about their first tattoo, and it's got to be super meaningful to them. But, you know, they get 15 other tattoos, and at that time, you know, the tattoos after just don't really have the same impact as the first one. There is only one thing in terms of reliability that I do want to touch on, and that is the pin, the striker, the firing pin, is held in by this roll pin right here. You can see it's see-through. You can see my face through it. It's held in by that, and that roll pin actually tends to wear out every couple thousand rounds if you're dry firing the gun. So I recommend snap caps, but if not, Cajun Gunworks actually has their own roll pins that are hardened, or they're extra hardened, and I replaced my roll pin with that one, and I haven't had issues with it. Also, I just don't dry fire this thing without snap caps anymore. Just a quirk you need to know. Now, one of the last things I would change, which I have done with this, is these magazines that I got were the 10-round California magazines. I hated them, and I should have waited, because the gun shop guy said, if you wait a week, we'll have a CZ P07 Urban Gray Tactical Edition, just the one you want, but with the regular 15-round magazines. And I was impatient, and I was just like, no, I'll take the gun. The 10 rounds doesn't matter to me. Getting into it a little deeper, yes, 10-round magazines sucked, and it does matter to me. So what I did was I went and took a drill press, and I drilled out the notches that were restricting the magazine from being a 15-rounder. The rest of the space was here. It just had these little indents that wouldn't allow the rounds to go further than that point. So I went and drilled those out. I don't know if that's something you can do in your state. I would recommend it. If you're from California or somewhere else where you can't do that, don't even mess with that at all. You know, you have your own problems to deal with there in California. Have I had any reliability issues with these magazines after doing this? No, absolutely not. I went and sanded the inside of it and the outside of it. It makes literally no difference. There's plenty of holes around, you know, these magazines anyway. Conclusion. This continues to be my favorite pistol. I don't think you can go wrong with it. But I also want to mention that I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of the other guns out there right now. With the P320, I don't think you'd go wrong with a G19. I don't think you'd go wrong even with an HK VP9. I just prefer this. And over all the time I've had shooting it and shooting all these other guns, this still is the smoothest shooting stock without me having to do anything to it. So again, thanks for clicking on this this garbage content. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.